Hi folks, it's Doc with FreezerMax. I'm in a customer's basement with their little 7-foot cubic foot freezer. And quite a few of you guys have been asking about an installation video, so that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to get the FreezerMax mini system installed in this freezer, and you'll be able to see start to finish how it's done. So in order to put the system in, you need three things. You need just a ballpoint pen. You need a hacksaw because you're going to have to cut the railing that your baskets are going to sit on to whatever length is needed for your freezer. And you're going to need a measuring tape so you can tell what length to cut to. So get those parts together, a hacksaw, just a ballpoint pen, and your measuring tape. Those are the things that you need. When you get your kit, the system, everything else will be in the kit. You're good to go. Okay, so step number one, and this is a critically important step. Well, actually, step number one is when you get your kit at the bottom of, if you scroll down on the web page, clear down the bottom, the installation instructions are all there. So you can either watch this video or you can go to the web page, and it's a PDF file with photographs that you can print off and walk through as you install your system. This is a critical step. Your freezer must be defrosted completely, and all of the moisture on the inside walls has to be dry. So that means it has to be at room temperature. You can't just take the food out that you have in there when it's still cold and put the system in, because these walls have to be dry in order for the railing adhesive to stick. And once it sticks, if you just do it the right way, once it sticks, it's permanent. So if you just follow the instructions, I know it's against some of our grain. I'm one of those guys who never ask for instructions when I'm driving. I'd rather be lost than ask for instructions. Just swallow your pride, fellas, and read the instructions one time, and it'll be worth it. I guarantee you. Okay, so you have your freezer all ready to go. It's all defrosted now. The walls are all dry. Step number one, what you want to do is almost every single chest freezer that's manufactured and sold in North America has one of these right here. If you can see that, it's the box where the compressor is, and almost always it'll be on the right side of your freezer, and most usually it goes all the way from front to back, but not always. There are some freezers that the compressor box is kind of a little semicircular box. It doesn't make any difference in terms of how you do the installation of your system. So step number one, you take your tape measure, you go down and measure the left to right width to the box. So in this case, in this 7 cubic foot freezer, that measurement is 24¼ inches. That's going to be used for, that measurement's going to be used for the railing. That's the bottom railing of this freezer. So that was 24¼ inches. But you don't cut your railing to 24¼ inches. You cut your railing, you remove an inch off of that measurement, so it's 23¼ That's where you're going to want to cut your railing. So this is what the railing looks like. They come in 36-inch lengths. You're going to measure on your railing 23¼ Remember, it was 24¼ We're going to take an inch off. We're going to measure 23¼ right there. Go out to your garage with your hacksaw, and you're going to cut not one railing, you're going to cut two to that length, because you're going to need one for this side of the bottom, and you're going to need one for this side of the bottom. Okay, we're back. It should take you just a couple of minutes with a sharp hacksaw. You can go right through this. The railing material is fiberglass reinforced polymer, which is super, super strong, and it holds up to the cold in your freezer, but it's easy to cut with your hacksaw. So I went outside, I cut these to 23¼ Your next step is to try these in and make sure your cut was right. Before you take the tape off, before you adhese them to the side, just trust me, it's worth taking 5 seconds. Try them in. I'm going to try these two in together. So we're just going to put them down here close to where the compressor box is. Make sure they go flat against this wall. My measurement was good. Everything looks good. These are ready to put in. So how do you do it? Well, your system comes with 2 gray installation guides that look like this. They're painted blue on one end. The other end is just gray. That blue end is painted to tell you that's the end that goes up. So when you put these, when you get ready to install your rail, you have to be able to see the blue end. So how do you do it? Well, you take that railing that you just cut, you slide it, we're going to do the bottom one first. So you slide it into that installation guide like that and like that. So they're holding now that railing at the right height and they're holding it level. So now do one more try-in with that railing with your installation guide and just set it into your freezer. Make sure that the ends of the installation guides go all the way to the bottom. It should stand there. And what you're looking for is you just want to make sure that that edge is flat against the side of your freezer. See, all the way across, it's up against the side. That means that our measurement is good. We're ready to go. We're ready to put that in. Okay, so you just leave that in the guide, lift it out, like that. And we're going to take this red tape off of the back of that adhesive. Right like that. So this is extremely sticky. So once you get to this point, you already know it's going to fit well. Just leave it in the installation guide, set it back into your freezer, and lay it up against the side. Just press it along the side of your freezer like that. You can slip the installation guides off. And now your bottom rail is on. That's all it takes. I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom rail on this side. Just repeat the same process. We'll put it into the installation guide like this. Check to make sure that our cut fits. Remember, make sure the installation guides are on the floor of your freezer. Everything looks good. Now we're ready to take that red tape off. Maybe. There it goes. And we're ready to put it in. Okay, stand it in. Make sure the guides are on the floor. Press it up against the side of the freezer. Just kind of walk your fingers down along the guide, pressing it against the side of the freezer, and then take your installation guides off. Congratulations, you just installed the bottom rail. You're ready to put your baskets in there once we get everything else put together. Okay, we're back and we're ready to put in the top or the middle railing now. I don't know if you can see, but our bottom railing is in. That took all of about, gosh, maybe 5 minutes total to cut the railing, to measure, cut the railing, put it in the installation guides, and just adhere it to the sides of the freezer. It's very, very easy. Anybody can do this. It was designed so that if you can use a hacksaw and cut that railing to the right length, you can install a FreezerMax system. So what's the next step? Well, the next step is, since we're above the compressor box now, we need to measure how long that middle railing is going to need to be. So we're just measuring the inside of the box. In this case, this measurement is 32 inches for the inside of the box. Remember, we're going to subtract 1 inch and we'll cut our railing. Now we're going to cut, the railing comes in 36 inches, so we'll cut it to 31 inches for this side and 31 inches for this side. I'll be right back. I'll go cut those and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I went out and cut the two guides for the middle. We're just going to try them in, remember, and make sure. I'm pretty sure I've got this right. I've done this quite a few times, but I'm going to try them in anyway. So it just needs to go in the middle of your freezer against this wall. Make sure to go in. What you're looking for is make sure that that seam is flat against this wall. If you get them too long, what happens is the corners of most freezers are rounded, if you cut your railing too long, you'll get into where it's rounded and it'll pull away from the side wall. You don't want to do that. You want to have that adhesive in complete contact all the way along the railing. That's why you cut it an inch short from what your measurement is. So I've got these two cut. I'm going to go ahead and try it on this wall as well. Okay, it looks great. So we're going to put it in exactly like we did the lower railing, with one exception. This time, remember, our installation guides, I need to be able to see the blue. So I know they go in like this. As I'm looking down, I can see the blue. The difference on the middle railing is the lower railing slots will go over the railing that we've already got installed. Okay? That's the only difference between the bottom railing and the top railing. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the railing in. Now remember, you got a compressor box on that side, so you can't put your installation guide clear down on that end, because it'll run into where the compressor box is. So let's try it in and see if we did okay. We're going to put it in like this. I guess I should show you. I put it into the top groove of the installation guide. I'm going to set them into the freezer, and the bottom groove of the installation guide is going to go over the railing that we already put in. Why do we do that? Because that guarantees that this distance between the two railings is where it should be. So make sure when you put it in, you slide it over the bottom railing that's already been put in with your installation guide. That's looking really good. Let's take it back out. And we're ready to take the tape off. Okay, in we go. Kind of hold it, when I do it, I kind of hold it like this. Tip it up. Put these slots back over this railing. And then just push it up against the sidewall. Once you have it pushed up, slide your installation guide off. And you can see it's adhered to the wall. Once that grabs a hold of the wall, it's extremely secure. Now, that adhesive that's on that tape, it's called very high binding tape. It is extremely strong, but it takes a couple hours to cure completely. So what you want to do is, once you get all the railing in, plug your freezer back in, start to get it to temperature, taking down the temperature. If you can just wait a couple of hours before you put your baskets in, it'll be completely cured. Okay, so let's do the same thing on the railing that goes on this side. Remember, blue goes up. And we will try it in. Slide it in, put the grooves over the bottom rail, like that. Make sure our length is right. We're looking good. Okay? Slip it out. Take your tape off. And we're ready to go in. Okay, hold it like that so it stays in place. Set it in. It's helpful, I think, if you kind of put it in like this and then tip it in, because it'll grab that lower rail. Kind of like that. Okay, so it's in, we know where we want it because it's over this railing and it's against the side of the freezer. Just push it up and take off your installation guides. Congratulations, you just installed the second railing. You're almost finished with the installation of the FreezerMax system. All right, so it's time. We got all our railing in place. It's time to put the FreezerMax baskets in. This freezer is a great example of a small one that requires a little bit more information. When you buy your system, you would be buying a mini system for a 7 cubic foot freezer. A mini system comes with 5 baskets. So this freezer will accommodate 1 basket on the bottom, 2 in the middle, and 2 on the top. But you need to measure the inside measurement of the box. So you need to measure from this wall right here, how far is it from this wall to this wall with small freezers. In this case, the measurement is 15 and a half, which is a kind of a standard measurement for small freezers. That's important because you need to let us know if that's the measurement of your freezer. If your freezer is less than 16 inches in this measurement, you need to let us know when you order your system, because we need to customize your baskets. We need to shorten the lip of your baskets in order for them to fit down into the box of your freezer. We have already done that. We do that in the warehouse. We do that for you. You just need to let us know that is what needs to be done, and we'll get it taken care of for you. Okay, so that's one thing about baskets. The other thing about baskets, let me grab one of these. When you get your system, you're going to have some stickers on some of the baskets. It's going to say upper basket. The upper baskets and the lower baskets are a little bit different in most cases. The upper baskets are going to have the ribs right underneath this lip removed so that they sit down flush and allow your lid to close. Now here's the deal. You can use upper baskets, and that's what I'm going to demonstrate in this freezer. You can use upper baskets in the bottom, but you cannot use lower baskets for the top. Okay? So blue sticker baskets can be used anywhere in your freezer, but that's not the case for lower baskets. You cannot put them on the top. If you try, what will happen is you put that basket in, set it in like this, and your top, because of this offset, is not going to allow the freezer to seal. It's not going to allow the freezer to close all the way, so don't make that mistake. You have to use upper baskets on the top, but you can also use them down the bottom as well. Okay, so what we're going to do today is one of the baskets that is an upper basket we're going to put down on the bottom. So what do you do with these baskets? Well, the way to expand them, they're telescoping, so you just put your fingers through the holes on each side and pull them apart, depending on how big a basket you need. Really big chest freezers, like 20 and above chest freezers, the baskets have to be extended all the way out. Small ones, it's more likely you're going to have to be extended all the way in. So you just put a basket in like this, and set it on the railing. That's the lower basket that's going to come with this freezer. As I get it down all the way. Like that. So that basket now is riding on the railing. Okay, what about the middle baskets? Let me grab the other one. The middle basket is going to set in like this. Whoops. It's going to set in like that. The second one is going to set in like that. So they're riding on the railing. Now, what about the upper baskets? Let me grab it. The upper baskets have the full lips on them. That's how they're different from the lower ones. The upper baskets are going to sit right on this lip for your freezer. Right like that. So you have a little bit, in this freezer, you have a little bit of room to slide both the uppers and the middle ones on the railing. Once you get food in these baskets, the weight will keep that distance, that width from changing. You don't have to worry about them sliding apart once you get them full of food. The weight of the food will take care of that for you. So that's the installation. You've now got 3 layers of baskets in your freezer. What else is there to the system? Well, there's one more component, and that's the magnetic organizer. Let me show you what that looks like. All right, so we're down to the last component of the FreezerMax system. You got your railing put in place, you got your baskets in. they're all looking good, you're ready to load them up. The last component is the magnetic organizer. It's made to go right on top of your freezer. It'll grab a hold. They come, when you get it, it'll be rolled up. So you're going to have to kind of press it down. But once it gets down, it's magnetic, so it'll stay in place. These are designed so whether you have the mini system or whether you're using the full system, you can designate those baskets in each of the levels. So in this freezer, it's a small freezer, so you just have 2 baskets on the top, you have 2 baskets on the bottom, and you have a single basket on the bottom, 2 baskets in the middle, and a single basket on the bottom. So you can fill that out. These are remarkable. So as you put food in, you put it on your organizer. As you take food out, you take it off of your organizer. It also comes with a magnetic pin that you can stick right on your freezer. It'll stay in place when you're getting in and closing it and opening it. And at one time we had multicolors pins. Right now we don't because we're having trouble sourcing these pins. But it does still come with a black pin. If you want to get additional multicolors, you can pick them up at Walmart or wherever you do your shopping. Okay, so that's the full system. You got your organizer, your pin, your baskets, everything's in place. You're ready to load this all up, plug it back in, give it a couple of hours, then you can put your food in and you're good to go. Just hope you enjoyed this. If you have any comments or anything, post them down below. Let me know what you're thinking.